Hi there, we have a new anime, a new channel with brief descriptions of anime. I'm new to this business. Today I want to talk about a man who is upset by his strong power in St. Petersburg. He has never won since he became the strongest man in the world, because all the contenders are women of different races. These women come here not to defeat him, but to give birth to a child with his genes. Peter has incredible strength, but he can't resist sexy female bodies. So how do these women manage to achieve their goal? Let's see. This whole story begins with a competition. This is the most important competition in the world and the winner can be recognized as the strongest person in the world. This time the championship is won by Peter, a native of the guild from Important Swordsman. All he wants now is to run out of the arena and celebrate this event with his beloved Lovelia, and then marry her. Our hero Peter is the strongest man in the guild from Important Swordsman. He wins the championship in competitions and is recognized as the strongest man in the world. With this fame, he intends to marry his beloved girlfriend Lovelia. Oddly enough, this brings him trouble. At this moment, Mimi the ogre from the guild is the first to congratulate him. After that, she makes a strange request that she wants to have children with Peter, and this scares Peter. Cannibals worship the strong, and she thinks it's perfectly reasonable to want to possess the genes of the strongest man in the world. Peter hastily refuses her, stating that in the human world such behavior requires an intimate relationship. Mimi misunderstands him and suggests they start by saying they can sleep together. Peter doesn't know how to react to Mimi's words and asks Mimi's sister Lisa to explain to her what the correct concept is. Lisa seriously criticizes Mimi, loudly stating that, as her older sister, she deserves to sleep with Peter and get Peter's seed first. Peter cannot change his terrible thoughts and is forced to run away quickly. Unfortunately, the girls won't let him go so easily. He relaxes only until he gets to the church where he agreed with Lovelia. They fold their arms on their chests and thank God for making their love a reality. Lovelia believes that now is the time to have a baby as a symbol of their love. She is so innocent that she thinks that if they sincerely pray to God, then God will send a stork to bring them a child. Peter's girlfriend really doesn't know anything about relationships between men and women. Peter returns home annoyed and is surprised to find that Mimi and Lisa have broken into his house and are trying to seduce him in various ways. He tries to suppress his desire, but the soft objects lying in front of him completely takes his body out of control. Accompanied by cannibals, Peter spends the whole night making irreparable mistakes and thereby leaving tears of regret, while the girls sleep peacefully. Coincidentally, Lovelia's voice comes from behind the door. Peter panics and hastily shoves both girls into the closet. They are very angry, but only in this way can he prevent Lovelia from discovering his mistake. Lovelia is very curious to know why Peter sweats in the early morning. He lies that he is doing morning exercises, deceiving an innocent girl Lovelia. She takes Peter to the Guild of Important Swordsmen to visit her father, the president of the Guild of Important Swordsmen. He loves his daughter so much that he never lets any man near her and always forbids her to meet Peter. But now that Peter has become the strongest man in the world, he is forced to agree to their engagement and arranges an evening banquet. Now Peter feels very happy, but happiness is a fleeting flash. When he is alone in the restaurant, the cannibals appear and congratulate Peter on his engagement. Peter thinks that they have already given up on him, but unexpectedly for themselves they just ask him for seeds again. They do not intend to marry him, but only want to have children with a strong pedigree. When they force Peter to take off his pants, Lovelia enters the room. He hastily hides the girls under the table and covers the lower part of his body with a tablecloth. Fortunately, Lovelia doesn't notice anything unusual. However, he is sitting where Father Lovelia should be sitting. Father Lovelia came to us and asked him to move away. To avoid embarrassment, he has to lie that he wants to sit closer to Lovelia. Lovelia's father is furious, but his daughter sides with Peter, so he has to leave with his anger. However, Peter still hasn't solved his problem. Cannibals begin their actions. They continue to tease him under the table, making him very nervous. At this moment, Lovelia's father gets drunk, so Lovelia has to take care of him. The ogre giantesses use this opportunity to boldly stir up Peter's nerves. That night, Peter can't hold back his desire again. He repents in the sunlight, sighing for his weak will. He asks the sun why men always regain their composure after everything is over. He can find the answer to this question only by himself. However, he faces something more than just two cannibals. One night he dreams of his beloved girl Lovelia. When he reaches out to touch her, he wakes up and is surprised to find that an elf appears in front of him. Her name is Vegan, whose goal is to get Peter's seed, just like cannibals. However, Peter resolutely refuses, which infuriates her. She tries to get the seed by force, but unfortunately this time Peter is so determined that his body does not react at all and he is pleased with himself. Enraged, Vegan casts an elven spell on him and she is sure that in a day Peter will voluntarily ask to give her his seeds. Peter looks after her, not paying much attention to it, because so far nothing has happened. When he gets dressed and is about to go to work, he receives news that Lovelia has been attacked by a monster full of tentacles, which uses these tentacles to control Lovelia, and then tears her clothes. He continues to excite her nerves and destroy her consciousness, which is so effective that Lovelia has no way to resist and she is about to be defeated by her desire. At the most critical moment, Peter is just in time to kill the monster and save Velia. They go to the hot spring to relieve the fatigue caused by the battle. Peter is the only one who is in the men's bath and he notices something unusual. He gets excited and filled with lust. At this moment, a vegan appears. She triumphantly says that this is because her spell only works when the one who cast the spell on him removes it, he will not be harmed. She asks Peter to kneel down and voluntarily offer seeds. Once again, he is forced to give his love. He can only console himself with the fact that what he did was done only for the sake of his future. They stay at the hotel until morning and his body feels as contented as a vegan's, but he feels depressed. Meanwhile, Lovely's father develops a plan to break off Peter and Lovely's relationship. He arranges a blind date between Peter and a girl from Orklandia, claiming that this is done to maintain friendly relations with Orklandia and will not lead to significant results. Lovelia knows that her father has bad intentions, but she doesn't stop it because she trusts Peter. Now she has no idea how bad it will turn out. Peter also knows that the true purpose of this blind date is to get him to cheat on Lovelia. He feels confident because he will never fall in love with an ugly orc. But the orc girl, Piglet, who assigned him a blind date, differs from other orcs in that she is beautiful and sexy. When they spend time alone, Piglet always blushes and suffocates badly. This is her first time talking so closely to a man. Piglet feels so inferior because other orcs consider her ugly and she is always excluded from society. She thinks she's not good enough for Peter, a strong man. Without saying many words, she just rushes out, bursting into tears, but is stopped by several excited men. Peter courageously defeats these men, to put it mildly, telling Piglet that she is very pretty. He goes shopping with Piglet and they wander around the human world together, making Piglet completely fall in love with him. Father Lovely takes the opportunity and orders Peter and Piglet to spend the night in the same room, claiming that this is done in order to show sincerity. Peter does not want to betray Lovelia and refuses to allow Piglet to approach him. Piglet thinks she's so ugly that Peter doesn't want to get close to her. After Peter gently comforted her, she kissed him passionately. Peter constantly takes deep breaths and tries to drive away bad thoughts. In the end, he succumbs to temptation at the moment when the Piglet undresses. When Peter wakes up, he again blames himself for not having enough determination. As soon as Piglet reveals everything, the relationship between him and Lovelia will definitely come to an end. He tells Piglet that this is a blind date, this is a political marriage. She needs to decide what kind of life she wants to live before she makes any decision. And before that, she has to hide her relationship. Peter's lies are quite obvious. Nevertheless, a miracle happens. The fugitive is hiding what happened last night, just like he said. After thinking about it, she decides to get Peter's seeds for herself, and not for the orcs. She wants to use his seeds to give birth to the strongest child, ordering this child to destroy all the orcs who laughed at her. Peter realizes that he can create a terrible monster. When he returns home, there are 4 girls asking him for seeds: Vegan, Piglet, Lisa and Mimi. When they compete for Peter, a fierce conflict breaks out. Piglet is the smartest of them. She takes the initiative to show her weakness in front of 3 strong girls, arousing Peter's sympathy. After that, she shows off her gorgeous body, hinting that a vegan is much worse than her. And then they call Agape, a fairy who can measure male arousal and tries various means to compete in her charm. Peter is very annoyed by the rivalry between the girls. His neighbor suggests that he stop this argument with alcohol, and he agrees. Oddly enough, girls get even crazier after they get drunk. Their seductive actions lead to Agape gaining more than the maximum score. Peter eventually fails to contain his desire, and he admits his guilt again when he wakes up. Despite the fact that the girls are satisfied, they still believe that they should avoid further litter. They conclude a contract, despite Peter's objection, agreeing on a schedule for Peter's ownership. Since then, Peter has been communicating endlessly intimately with these girls. After that, he goes on a date with Lovelia on his promised day off with the girls. They enjoy the long-awaited time spent as lovers and spend a happy day. Dinner time is coming soon. Mimi's appearance spoils everything, and she comes to ask Peter for seeds. Peter accuses her of breaking the agreement, but she says that a free day off is the best chance to avoid meeting the others. A simple girl Lovelia does not understand anything at all, thinking that they are discussing work. Peter hurriedly takes Mimi to the toilet and satisfies her. He thinks it's over, but in fact it's just the beginning. After Mimi leaves, Vegan and Lisa appear one after the other. Each of them enjoys Peter for the same reason, leaving him very little time to communicate with the Lavelles. After that, they leave with a sense of satisfaction. The date eventually ends in failure. Peter is very upset. When he gets home, he cries while taking a shower. Fortunately, Piglet is ready to listen to all his sorrows, which brings him long-lost self-confidence. Only after he gives his seeds of tenderness to Piglet, he will realize that he has been deceived. Suddenly, other girls appear and accuse Piglet of not following the agreement. And again they take turns taking seeds from Peter. He's so sad because no one follows the rules he doesn't agree with. He leaves the house, crying sadly in the rain. A passing Ugric warrior notices that Peter is so sad and warmly hands Peter a towel. Peter, in tears, complains to the ogre that he has a girlfriend he loves, but he can't stay with her. The ogre may well understand Peter's feeling. He's been chasing the cannibal princess for years, but it's still useless. But he believes that if they persevere, they will definitely be able to be with their lover. Peter is so touched until he hears the name of the girl that the cannibal warrior likes, Lisa. He hurries home in alarm, wondering who Lisa really is. Lisa does not deny this, stating that she will not hold Peter responsible because she only needs his seed. Having explained this, Lisa again entered into an intimate relationship with Peter. Meanwhile, the cannibal warrior comes to the guild from important swordsmen to find out where Lisa is. The receptionist, who likes muscular men, cannot resist the charm of the cannibal warrior and tells him Lisa's address. This is obviously a real disaster. When he sees Lisa, despair turns to anger because Lisa is sleeping with the man he just helped. Then he trashed the whole room and beat Peter. However, Peter can only use a banana lying by the roadside as a weapon. Despite the fact that he is the strongest man in the world, this battle will not be easy for him. Fortunately, Lisa stops the ogre in time. The ogre then calms down to talk to Lisa, asking Lisa to come back and lead the Ograf because they don't have me as a leader now. But Lisa refuses. She thinks that in her homeland there is no one stronger than her, and their seeds have no value at all. Until she can have a child with the strongest man in the world, she will not return to her homeland. To prove his strength, the ogre asks Peter to challenge him to a duel. Peter knows that he can get rid of Lisa if he deliberately loses to the ogre. However, Lisa sees through his thoughts and says that if he does not fight with all his might, she will tell Lovelia, who is watching the duel, that he is having an affair with other women. In the end, Peter has to defeat a man-eating warrior, who also has great strength. When a cannibal warrior feels depressed, the receptionist confesses her love to him, which for a cannibal warrior is like a light in the dark. He tries to abandon Lisa to fall in love with the receptionist. When they start dating, the cannibal warrior gradually realizes that the secretary is the only one worthy of his full love, so he no longer chases Lisa. After that, Peter is very disappointed. But Lisa was pleased to say that Lovelia's father does not love Peter, so he will never be able to be with Lovelia. She believes that Peter can find happiness only by marrying her. When Peter hesitates, Lovelia appears. After seeing her pretty face, Peter no longer has any hesitation. He firmly believes that Lovelia is the only girl he needs. At the end of the story, Lovelia reports the bad news that goblins are invading the kingdom of humans and the Guild of Brave Swordsmen has to go to the aid of people. Peter and Lovelia hold each other's hands, believing that they can overcome any difficulties if they are together. However, Peter does not notice that 4 girls are following him closely. It looks like they will never give up on getting Peter's seeds. There is an interesting moment in this anime when 4 girls sign a contract to compete for Peter. In this contract, the girls agree on when Peter will belong to them, but they all violate this contract in order to get Peter first. It seems that Peter really seems tempting to them. When I watch this anime, I understand that Peter feels guilty and suffers every time he gives his beloved, but his body or desire does get satisfaction. In addition, I sincerely sympathize with the abduction, which does not suspect anything. I'm curious to know about her behavior after she learns how to have children. Will she act more feverishly than 4 girls to give birth to Peter first, or will she severely punish Peter, who often cheats on her? I'm really looking forward to this simple girl surprising us next season. If you're looking forward to it too, please like and subscribe. After that, I will do a brief review of the second season on my channel. For now,